Dana White's Contender Series, Season 9, Week 2, airs tomorrow, August 19th, and I'm here to give my fight picks, breakdown, very brief breakdown that is, and predictions for the card. So we're going to hop right into it, but before we do, make sure you throw a like and a subscribe and comment your favorite pick of the week in the comments below. We're going to hop right into it with Ramiro Jimenez and Tommy Kuwazi. I watched Tommy Kuwazi's fights, what I could find. And you go look at his last fight. First thing you do, go check out his last fight. He's fighting some guy who got straight off the couch, no muscularity. He was smiling pre-fight, but this guy ends up tapping his strikes early in the first round after getting taken down. He gets up holding his lower back. I don't know where they got that guy from. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it did not look like a very high level of competition. So just off that alone, off Tommy Kwazi's record, the strength of schedule is pretty weak. And then you got Ramiro Jimenez on the other side. You know, the guys he's fighting look significantly different than the guys Tommy Kwazi's fighting. They're muscular. They look coordinated. They look like they have some sort of wherewithal in the cage. So based off that alone, I got to go with Jimenez. He has more fights. He's fought better competition. Tommy Kwazi is a grappler. He has good wrestling. But Jimenez, in his own respect, has showed an ability to scramble. He has pretty good striking. He knows how to finish the fight on the feet. He can get it done via submission, and he has a couple of decisions as well. I think he's just going to be the more experienced guy. He's fought better people, and give me him. I think the odds are very wide for this fight, so it is what it is. I think he's like a minus 350, but I think it's correctly lined. I think he should be a clear victor here in the first bout of the night at featherweight. Next, we got and also, before we get to the next fight, this card is all heavy favorites with one closely lined fight. So just because I'm going to pick one dog because I know one of these guys is going to win. And that brings us to our heavyweight bout in the next match. We have Josh Hokett and Guilherme Uriel. And this is going to be the dog shot for me. I told myself I was picking one heavy dog this week because I know one of them is going to win. I could be wrong here, but Guilherme Uriel is a big underdog. He has pretty solid striking. He does blitz forward a little bit, which causes for concern because Josh Hokett is a wrestler and grappler type of fighter. He gets the fight to the ground. Decent striking as well, and he can easily snatch that neck up for a submission. But from what I've seen in Guilherme Uriel's last fight against Thiago Silva, he was trying to wrestle. Thiago Silva was a big dude, and he was trying to wrestle. He was striking as well. He was blitzing forward, using strikes to close the distance and shooting on takedowns. And Uriel did a pretty good job of defending those takedowns and ultimately finishing the fight later in the first round. I'm going to go for something similar to that's going to happen here. Hokett is a lot smaller than Silva. And Silva's 8-2. So he was 8-1 when they fought. Uriel did pretty well against him. He looked good in the takedown defense department. Josh Hokett is going to look to get this fight to the ground. I don't think he wants to strike with Uriel. He's also going to come in smaller than Uriel. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Josh Hokett weighs in around 238, 240 versus Thiago Silva, big 270, trying to wrestle him in his last bout. So Uriel here, I think he can defend the takedowns and potentially find a knockout on the feet. That's my big dog shot of the week. So like I said, Dana White's Contender Series is very volatile. We see a lot of upsets and a lot of guys who are massive favorites that don't end up looking like massive favorites. So my dog shot this week is going to be Guilherme Uriel, maybe by knockout over Josh Hokett when he's not able to get his wrestling and grappling off. That'd be a Mystic Mac play if that one hits because Hokett does look pretty good. People are speaking pretty highly of him, but from what I've seen, yes, he looks good, but I think Guilherme Uriel has a chance to stop the takedowns and keep it a striking fight. Next, we will go into our bantamweight bout between Lewis Lee Scott and Kaushik Sai-Kumar. So we got another Indian prospect on the scene at bantamweight. They have not had too much success so far in the UFC. This is not the UFC yet, but this is essentially the same thing. This is the supreme audition for the UFC. And Kaushik Sai-Kumar, he's pretty calm on the feet. He's very composed. He's a little bit low volume and he backs up a lot. I don't like that he looks calm, but he's constantly backing up, allowing himself to get pressured. He does have some power. He seems like a pretty strong guy. If he's able to get the fight to the ground, he has good ground and pound. He has good scrambles and solid jiu-jitsu. And on the other hand, we have Lewis Lee Scott. He's a pressure fighter. He's pretty wild, honestly. He throws caution to the wind. He gets a little bit reckless, and he goes for the kill. I think that's going to be big trouble for Lewis Scott if he makes it to the UFC. He'll be susceptible to getting countered and put down. But I don't think I don't think he's going to have what it takes here unless he's able to find some sort of submission or a Hail Mary knockout like he found against, who was it? He was fighting a Bubakar and he was down 2-0 on the cards, and he ended up getting a knee to ground and pound TKO in the third round. That could happen, but I'm going to go with Lewis Scott here. I just think Sai Kumar is too willing to back up and allow fighters to pressure him, and he doesn't really offer that much of a counter strike option. So I think Lewis Scott is going to come out here, blitz Sai Kumar, and potentially find a knockout in the first or second round. It's going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts, but I can't get away from Sai Kumar just allowing fighters to pressure him without that much volume. Oh, I guess, counter strikers don't necessarily throw a lot of volume in the first place, but he's not striking me as a solid counter strike type of guy. He is decent though, and I like his composure. I just think Scott's pressure is going to be too much, and his volume is going to be too much. So give me Lewis Lee Scott by knockout in the first or second round. Next, we'll move to a middleweight bout between Cam Rouston, and it's actually Brandon Holmes. It is not John Kuhneman. Brandon Holmes is stepping in. He's 5-0 prospect out of South Carolina. This dude is shredded. This guy's ripped. Brandon Holmes, big dude, very explosive striking. He blitzes forward. He likes to throw. He likes to just walk you down like classic Vitor Belfort like that. And he's going to look for the finish. The only thing is Cam Rouston fighting out of City Kickboxing. He's tall, long striker, good jiu-jitsu game. I think as an underdog, Cam Rouston is sitting at plus 140 right now. I think he has a good chance of getting this one done, probably on the scorecards. I don't know if he'll find a knockout. I do see a likelihood of submission, though. Brandon Holmes is going to try to close the distance, overwhelm with pressure and volume and explosive striking, and I think Cam Rouston can do a good job of staying on the outside, using his kicks and his range with straight shots. He throws good combinations in his own respect, but he's the not bigger. This dude, Brandon Holmes, is fucking jacked. But Rouston will be the second dog pick of the week. I want to pick Brandon Holmes via explosive knockout, but at the same time, I think Rouston realistically can stay on the outside, avoid the danger, and find a decision win here, or potentially a submission. This guy's crafty on the ground, and if Brandon Holmes, blitzes in too hard or throws too hard on a punch, like just overextends on a looping shot, I think he could get taken down and potentially submitted on the ground. I think the range is going to be a serious factor here. So give me Cam Rouston by decision or submission in the co-main event for this fight card. Cam Rouston's pretty decent. I thought he put up a good fight against Torres Finney, but the wrestling pressure was just too much for him. Brandon Holmes is a scary guy, though. That when you see him, you're going to be like, oh shit. Especially if you bet on Cam Rouston and you did not look at what Brandon Holmes looks like when he gets in the cage, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, this guy's huge. Hey, yo. But yeah, Cam Rouston's the pick. Second underdog of the night. This is the closest line fight on the card. We have Brandon Holmes at minus 160, I believe, and Cam Rouston at plus 140. So for the main event, we have Manuel Exposito and Jose Delano in a featherweight bout. So Manuel Exposito, he's Argentinian. He's a grappler, pretty solid. His strength of schedule is pretty weak. Look at his last 3 fights and the records of the guys that he fought in his last 3 fights, and then go look at Jose Delano and look at the records of the guys that he's fought in his last 3 fights. Delano does have more decisions, but he has a lot better of a strength of schedule. I'm almost going with Jose Delano solely on that. We have seen Jose Delano tested against pretty solid guys, Exposito, on the other hand, not so much. He's a solid grappler. But Jose Delano is just really well-rounded, man. He has good wrestling. He has good grappling, good striking. He's good everywhere. And this guy, I believe, is also a massive favorite. So, like I said, I'm not reinventing the wheel with this pick here. But Jose Delano's strength of schedule and well-rounded ability, I see him getting it done. Honestly, I see him getting it done inside the distance. This guy's pretty damn good. I'm excited for this fight. I think he should be the clear favorite here. He's a wide favorite for a reason. I don't think this is going to be a big upset in the main event. So Jose Delano, well-rounded, good striking, good wrestling, good grappling. I think he's going to be too much for Exposito. I think he'll be able to counter if necessary and impose his will. Those are my picks for Dana White's Contender Series Season 9, Week 2. If you are here, like and subscribe. Share it with your friends if they're into the DWCS. And yeah, let's get it. Ramiro Jimenez, Gurriel, Guillerme Uriel. Sorry, these names are ridiculous sometimes. Guillerme Uriel, big dog shot of the week at heavyweight via knockout. Lewis Scott pressuring Kushik Sai-Kumar. I think he's going to be too much. Cam Rowston staying on the outside, using his range, and potentially finding a submission if Brandon Holmes overextends on a big shot. And then Jose Delano via well-roundedness and better strength of schedule. I'm pretty confident in these picks outside of Guillermo Uriel, but I had to take a big dog shot. I told myself I would. We're going to be back every single week for Dana White's Contender Series, breaking down the fights, giving my views and opinions. And tomorrow I will be dropping my UFC Shanghai full card breakdown and prediction video. We're going to get after it. We're staying active and trying to stay as accurate as possible. If you're betting on this, it is very volatile. Make sure you always do your own research and you always bet responsibly. And of course, enjoy the fights. Hopefully we get a better card than week 1. I'll be back soon, guys. Let's go.